Jason Belmonte has always been an extremely talented bowler, that much is clear. But by 2012 onwards, he was able to truly elevate his game to new heights, heights we had never seen throughout the history of the PBA Tour. And he got to this level by just making a few adjustments to his game. Early on in his career, he was a very different bowler. It wasn't until he'd won a few titles that he really began making some serious changes, particularly to his physical techniques and, even more importantly, his mental approach. These changes were the foundation for his rapid ascent in the sport and helped him secure the 15 major titles he currently holds today. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what those changes were and how they helped him transform his game into one of the most elite we've ever seen. Let's start by looking back at Belmo's first ever PBA title at the 2009 Long Island Classic. Focusing on his physical game, one of the first things that stands out is his speed and delivery. There's a lot of power and it's reminiscent of Oscar Palermo, who also had a fast, aggressive type of approach with lots of force behind the ball. Jason was really firing it down the lane, and while that might have been partly due to the lane conditions, it was also pretty typical of his style at this time. Now let's talk about his mental game. You can immediately notice his high amount of energy. He's very intense, almost to the point of anxiety. He's not calm or composed. It feels like every shot is a matter of life or death.
This season. Gets the 10 to kick. One for me! Let's see him make him! Come on, come on!
He's talking to himself all the time, reacting out loud, and you can sense that his emotions are in control of him, not the other way around. This kind of intensity made sense because, after all, he was still trying to win his first title and the pressure was huge. He did end up winning that event, but let's look at how this pattern continued in other matches throughout the early portion of his career. In the title match of the 2010 Plastic Ball Championship, we saw much of the same behaviour. Belmonte was highly reactive, emotional, and lacked grounding, especially as the match wore on. In contrast, his opponent, Brian Zyzig, was the exact opposite. Despite also facing immense pressure, especially in the one-ball roll-off, Zyzig remained composed and emotionally neutral throughout the match, and he was the one who came away with the win. Another example was the 2009 Scorpion Championship against Mike Devaney. Even after winning his first title, Belmonte still displayed that same intense energy with little emotional control. But if we now jump ahead to when Belmonte was in his prime and dominating majors, we can find a great example in the 2017 Players Championship, which was really in his peak. Watching his physical game here, you'll notice that his approach is much more relaxed and deliberate. His tempo is slower, more controlled. It no longer feels like he's forcing the ball down the lane with raw power. Instead, his delivery looks smoother and more natural. This shift in tempo and rhythm really began around 2012. You can already see a noticeable difference in his mechanics during that year's World Championship. He started to slow things down and let the ball do more of the work, which helped bring a new level of fluidity to his game. But the biggest transformation really came in his mental game. Gone was the jittery, hypercharged energy. Instead, he was calm, composed, and focused. The constant self-talk disappeared, and he began to approach each shot with emotional stability. This mental shift was crucial. Without it, there's no way he could have achieved the consistent success that he did. Time and time again, he was in a high-pressure, major situation that could have broken a less composed player, but Belmonte handled all of this with ease. A big part of that came down to acceptance, learning to embrace whatever happened on the lanes rather than trying to control everything. This mindset shift with the calm energy was a game changer. Slowing down really marked the turning point in his career to me. Yes, it introduced new challenges. He therefore started to play more extreme angles, and at times on television he could have some carry issues. I remember he went through a stretch where he seemed to leave a lot of 9 pins on TV, but players like Pete Weber faced similar issues. It came with the territory of how they threw the ball. However, Belmonte found a way to make it work, even incorporating urethane into his arsenal effectively. It gave him more options and made him an even more versatile competitor. That, along with both his physical and mental game, is what truly set him apart. But in recent years, particularly the last 2 years, Belmonte has faced challenges. While he's still making TV shows consistently, he hasn't actually won a singles title since 2023. On recent telecasts, you can sometimes see the frustration creeping back in. While he's still far and away of what he was in his early days, he's definitely showing more frustration than he was, which is not surprising the longer and longer it goes without a singles title. But this is exactly when he needs to return to what worked so well for him over the past decade, staying centered, composed, and letting the game come to him. There's little doubt he'll be back on telecast in 2026, and if he can channel the same grounded confidence from his prime, he'd definitely be back in the winner's circle again. So what can we all learn from Belmonte's journey? One of the most common struggles bowlers face is speeding up or forcing shots under pressure. It happens to almost all of us, but some bowlers really struggle to manage their tempo when the stakes are high. And that's exactly what we saw from Belmo in his early career. Once he committed to slowing his body down, everything started to fall into place. So as a practice drill, try this during your next practice session. Center yourself, get grounded, really take your time to kind of feel your body and deliberately slow your approach. See how it feels. Can you sense when you start rushing? What happens when you really focus on slowing down even more? Really exaggerate it and start to feel the differences of what your body does, how the roll on the ball is different. Take some time to really feel what is going on, and you'll be amazed at the difference. And once you start to tune into that, you'll start to notice the exact moments when you get too fast or start forcing the shot, and you'll be able to correct it more quickly. Just like Belmonte did, learning to just slow things down. And well, to be honest, I would actually change that term, slow things down, and just say that consistent tempo that's right for you. Learning that skill to find that tempo that's right for you and your game, and staying present at the same time, could be the key to unlocking a new level in your own game. And so that brings us to an end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you have enjoyed what you've seen here today, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button below. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below, and please let me know if you'd like to see similar videos to this one, and if so, if there's any other PBA pros you'd like me to do this sort of video for. That's going to do it from me for today, and as always, thank you bowling fans, and see you all next time.